includes the best sporting facilities, cafes and city living. It's the capital of Victoria and has been rated the world's most livable city 7 years in a row. This weekend, it plays host to the best Still Timbersports athletes in Australia for the Still Timbersports Australian Championship. Last time, in the first 2 days of competition, the top 16 athletes competed in 6 disciplines in 2 pools. Mitch topped the table in Pool A. Losa was also competitive. And Jamie Head and Cody Steers rounded out the top 4. Lawrence O'Toole topped the tables in Pool B, with Braden Meyer, Glenn Gillam and Matt Gurr making the top 4. The top 8 will now compete for the Australian title. So, who do our athletes see as the contenders?
Realistically, there's probably 5 different guys that I could see winning it. It's just how the day falls for them.
I guess they're all pretty well major threats. There's 4 or 5 guys out there that are capable of winning it.
On finals day, the contender could be a mix of new or an established Still Timbersports winner.
Yeah, I think Brad's probably the man to beat. So yeah, hopefully I can do that, but you got to watch everyone else. If I can be on top of the big boys, I'll be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, anyone on the day can win. If I had to say one person, probably Brad. You know, he won it last year and he'll be pretty revved up for it.
For reigning champion Brad Losa, being the #1 contender means stepping up to the plate again.
I put a lot into it and a lot of preparation, and I've sort of had a lot of success with Timbersports over the years, so it'd be great to get another victory here on home turf for sure.
It's going to be non-stop action in the final day of competition. Contending the title here in Melbourne, we have reigning Australian champion from New South Wales, Brad Losa. The always consistent and ever hungry for the title, Queenslander Jamie Head. The man with the magnificent mullet, Tasmanian Cody Steers. Standing block specialist from Queensland, Mitch Argent. Tasmanian wood chopping legend, Matt Gurr. Last year's runner-up, Victorian Lawrence O'Toole. Newcomer to the Still Timbersports Series, Victorian Glenn Gillam. And 2015 Australian champion, Victorian Braden Meyer. As the athletes prepare for the first event, let's check out the springboard. The springboard imitates an old lumberjack technique to overcome hard rootwood. The athletes cut 2 pockets in a vertical log 2.7 metres high. With the help of the springboard, they climb to the top and cut through a 27 centimetre diameter log from both sides. He may be a newcomer to the Still Timbersports Series, but Glenn Gillam's not a newcomer to wood chopping.
Wood chopping is a part of my heritage. It's in the veins, thicker than thick, and the tree climbing, when you're punching a little few pounds up there in the air, I mean, gravity doesn't favour me, but you just see what you can do. If you can get a good hole in there to stick up in the air and just give it all you've got, that's all that matters.
Gillam will be giving all he's got against Tasmanian Cody Steers in this first heat of the springboard. Let's see how they go.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
And it's Steers who gets to the wood first, looking to make a big impact hit in his first pocket and get that board loaded in. But it's Gillam who gets his first board in and loaded up. Steers not far behind as they get their first one going. They want to make sure they don't get too much sag on that board so they can get maximum power going into the pocket cuts. A nice deep groove for Gillam on his second board. It's Gillam who gets up onto the second board first. Steers not far behind. A really good start by Gillam, which is exactly what he's after here on the final day of the Australian Championships. Both are tearing chunks from the front side of their blocks. Steers with a bit of work to do as Gillam puts in some big strokes. He'll be looking to turn to the backside soon. Steers with solid hits on that top block. But Gillam cuts through in 50.51 and he looks very happy with his efforts in this first event of the day here in Melbourne. Steers on the back and there it is in 69.81.
What just happened, I just shot straight up there in that springboard, cut my PB, had a slimming time, 16 seconds off yesterday, and yeah, wonderful.
Our next heat sees Mitch Argent up against springboarding legend Matt Gurr from Tasmania.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
It's Mitch Argent on stand number 1 and Matt Gurr on stand number 2. Argent gets his board up first, but it's Matt Gurr who is in hot pursuit, looking to gain maximum points in his pet event. They're looking to get that second pocket loaded. Argent is throwing a few more strokes than usual, and Gurr now takes the lead. Loading up his board, he's jumping ahead of Argent. He gets the axe into the wood first on the top block. He'll be looking to chop the majority of the way on the front side before turning to the back and finishing it off. Argent, with a little sag in his board, he's now up on top and is really giving his all to catch Matt Gurr in this final part of the discipline. We know how good a chopper Argent is, and there are some solid blows going into that block. Gurr now turns on the backside, but so too does Argent. But it's Gurr who comes home in 47.53, just outside the Australian record. Argent finishes off there in 51.31. For Lawrence O'Toole, expectations ride high in this year's quest for the title.
My expectations, well, I've got 6 expectations, 1 for every event. So I've got my own sort of plan, and I'd just like to achieve those results that I've been training towards in each discipline.
O'Toole will be up against Jamie Head, who will not be giving O'Toole an inch in this battle, as they're both looking for a great start.
My mindset for the Australian champs this year is pretty well. I'm going to go all or nothing this year. I'm not really here to worry about making the team. It's that individual spot that I want.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
And they're off and chopping, both keen to take out this event. Head with a 4-hit pocket loads his board, and they're both equal at this point. Head with a slight lead into the wood with precision cuts going into those pockets. These guys are the best in the world at it. Who's going to take it out as O'Toole loads his second board? They both jump up, and Head is in front by a hit to O'Toole. Lots of work to do here, but these guys are in their element, almost 3 metres off the ground. O'Toole with big, long strokes into the wood, making full use of his bigger frame. Head is hammering at that log, but having trouble getting through, possibly with a knot as O'Toole turns around to the backside. He'll be looking to get a fast time, and with the final blows, he comes home in the fastest time so far, 45.26. Head is finishing off now and comes home in 51.82. O'Toole certainly got the better of Head in this exchange, with a fast climb up the tree and finishing off with experience at the top. With Losa and Meyer to go, can O'Toole hold on to the fastest time so far?
3, 2, 1, go!
We're in Melbourne for the Still Timbersports Australian Championships, and 2 of their best athletes are keen to top the table at the start of the day.
This year's pretty special. Yeah, I really want to go back to Europe this year and make sure I'm number 1 again. But yeah, hopefully I can have a good run this weekend and try and secure that number 1 spot for the second time.
But Braden Meyer will have his work cut out as he goes up against reigning Timbersports Australian champion Brad Losa.
Well, that's, the aim, I suppose, is to get there and win the World Championship. I was pretty disappointed last year. I was a bit disappointed with the result from there, so I'd certainly like to, get back and redeem myself on that world stage.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
And it's Losa who slightly gets to the wood first, but it's Meyer who grabs his board and slots it into the pocket ahead of Losa. They're pretty much exactly the same into the second pocket, looking to get that second board loaded in, with times this far looking pretty good. Great safe angles on both the boards as they go for the top. The time to beat is Lawrence O'Toole's lightning fast time of 45.26. Can they do it? Meyer looks to have a lot of work done now on the front side as he chops at the poplar block on top. He's getting maximum power from his position back on the board and doing the majority of the work in the front side. He looks slightly ahead as he turns for the back. Losa turns too, and Meyer with a final blow. He's through in the fastest time of the day. There it is, 45.17, and a new Australian record. Losa home in 52 seconds. A quick scale up the tree gets Braden Meyer an early win.
Yeah, I'm pretty agile for a big fella. To break the record makes me feel amazing. I didn't expect that today, so
start off to a good day.
Certainly is a good start for Braden Meyer with the fastest time and a new Australian record. O'Toole came second with Gurr and Gillum in third and fourth as we head into our next event, stock soar. The still stock soar is the first of our soaring events. Placing both hands on the trunk of the 40-centimetre block, athletes must reach for their chainsaws on the sound of the gun and cut 2 perfect cookies within the allocated 10 centimetres of wood or face the dreaded DQ. Our first heat of the stock soar sees Victorian Glenn Gillum up against Queenslander Jamie Head. Both competitors were disqualified in yesterday's qualifying, so they'll be looking to improve today.
So the only person I can see coming up through the ranks as a major threat is probably Glenn Gillum. He's probably the best chopper in the world at the minute, and I know he's been working hard on all the other events.
Matt Gurr, who'll be looking to improve on his position in the springboard with a good run in the stock soar.
Hands on the wood, get set.
Steers very quick to the wood, but it's Gurr who looks in control on the down cut. He hits the bottom, they look matched on the upcut. Who's going to come out on top? It's Gurr who gets the advantage with a close win to back up his springboard result. Mitch Argent topped the table in the qualification round, so too did his competitor in this next heat.
Yeah, Lawrence is a great competitor. He's always hard to beat across the board in any discipline. You know, he'd go a fair way to winning this competition, I reckon.
So in this next heat, the 2 top qualifiers go head-to-head with Mitch Argent taking on Lawrence O'Toole. Both will be able to get points in the stock soar. Who will win?
Hands on the wood, get set.
Quick reflexes have Argent hitting the wood. A steady down cut sees him on track. Who will hit the bottom first? Wow, simultaneous changeovers to the upcut. O'Toole's cookie rolls off as he seems to be taking the lead. And there he is with 13.68, but not good enough to take Jamie Head's top time. O'Toole hit the wood fast, but the upcut is where he took the advantage, beating Argent easily on the home run. Our next heat sees a determined Braden Meyer, who currently holds the lead after the first discipline. He's up against reigning Australian champion Brad Losa in this final heat of the stock soar. We can see them there warming up those saws. They're looking to keep them competition ready, keeping the revs up, warm and ready to go when they pull the trigger. Who will lead into the next event?
Hands on the wood, get set.
Cat-like reflexes by Losa gets the saw to wood quickly. Last time they competed against each other, Losa won the title in the stock soar shootout, but it looks like Meyer does not want to repeat. They're finishing the upcut. Wow, geez, that was close. I couldn't split them, but Meyer takes the win with 13.24 to Losa's 13.39. In slow-mo, we can see here Meyer's saw breaks the surface just ahead of Losa.
Times are real close today, so I think no one can beat like that 11-12 second mark. I don't think so. I reckon I've done pretty good.
He sure has done pretty good, topping the tables in the springboard and the stock soar. This now puts Meyer ahead of Gurr, with O'Toole and Head drawing for third. Meyer is on a rampage, blitzing the springboard, then the stock soar. Will the title be his? Still Timbersports, brought to you by the Amarok V6, the most powerful ute in its class. 11 Workwear, official clothing partner of the Still Timbersports Australian Series. And Still voted #1 for quality garden power tools. Better still. We are in Melbourne for the Still Timbersports Australian Championship, and Braden Meyer has backed up his win in the springboard with an equal result in the stock soar. How will he go in the standing block? The standing block is the second axe event of the day, where athletes slay at least 50% of the front side before traversing and turning to remove the back half, finalising their hit patterns with ripping overhand throws. Currently in a 5th position, reigning champ Brad Losa really needs to turn his fortunes around if he's going to catch the leading competitors.
It's all about consistency, really. You've got to get out there and do each and every event, you know, as good as you can and try to place in the top, you know, 2 or 3. So it's mistake-free if you make any mistakes or, you know, have a bit of a slip-up. There's, you know, someone right there waiting to take the place. So it's, yeah, it's all about consistency and just, you know, doing everything right and as quick and as well as you can.
He'll be up against Tasmanian veteran Matt Gurr in the first heat of the standing block.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
And it's Gurr that gets to the block first on stand number 2, Losa on stand number 1. They'll be aiming for 8 to 10 hits in the front side and then 8 or less in the back to post a good time. Losa turns first, looking to make a big statement here in the standing block. He's looking to put the drivers in now. Can he get a good time? 16.81, great time. And also for Matt Gurr. Warming up his shoulders stands Tasmanian Cody Steers. In this second heat, he'll be taking on the axe-heavy Victorian in Glenn Gillum, who has revelled in the Still Timbersports series thus far.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
And they hit the wood at pretty much the same time. The big Victorian is laying serious blows into the block as they're synchronised in their chopping here, both turning at the same time. You couldn't split them, they're neck and neck. Who's putting more in the front side? And that is quick, 15.75 for the Tasmanian. And you couldn't split them at the turn. That was a great heat.
I was a little more so worried about Glenn Gillum there, one of the best stand block cutters in the world, and never actually beaten him in any standing block event, so yeah, very stoked to beat him and post a pretty good time.
Currently in equal third, Jamie Head will be looking to improve on that position in the standing block.
I worked pretty hard on my chopping, my underhand and standing, just making sure that, that I was cutting neat and not making them mistakes. And I've really worked hard on all my gear, pretty well left nothing to chance.
He'll be taking on arch rival Lawrence O'Toole, who broke the Australian record in this event yesterday and shares 3rd spot for today with Head.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
Head, the right-hander, versus O'Toole, the left-hander. Head turns first for the backside, but O'Toole is hot on his case. The time to beat is Steers 15.75. Head looks to have a slight lead, but here comes O'Toole. A final blow, and he's home in 17.85. Head will be disappointed with his cut. He comes home in 20.68. Let's check out O'Toole's run. On the turn, Head definitely had the advantage, but O'Toole came home hard, currently with the 3rd fastest time overall. For the current competition leader, Braden Meyer, the standing block is all important.
I'm on my motivation to win. It's pretty good. I just want to win. That's what I want to do. So I always go into it knowing I've got to beat the time. If I don't beat my man, but I beat the bloke who had the fastest time, well, I'm happy with that.
But for Mitch Argent, currently in equal 6th place, he's got something to prove in his pet event.
Emmy chopping, standing block's probably my strongest discipline, so hopefully come out close to the field. And I think you've got to stay in that sort of top 4 or 5 to do well at the end of the day. You need to just be consistent, I suppose, across the whole lot of them. Yeah, so standing block chop, it started years ago when a fella would cut a tree down in the bush. You cut approximately 50% through the log in the front and turn to the backside and cut the other half off. The axes you use, well, most of them come from New Zealand, and the most dangerous thing about cutting a standing block is when you're putting your top hits down. If you're not holding that backhand or don't hit on the right angle, the axe will scoop off, and the first thing it's going to run into is your leg. Try not to cut yourself. That's pretty important. Best standing block cutter in the world, I reckon, would be Glenn Gillum at the moment. So he's definitely the hardest standing block cutter to beat. Great cut in the standing block, I suppose, is how many hits you put in it. The less hits, the better, of course. So a quick cut's a good cut.
Both Argent and Meyer will battle in the final heat of the standing block in what should be one of the heats of the day.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
Perfect start for Argent, right on the go. Last year's powerhouse standing block anchor for the Chopperoos will be going all out here, and he turns first. Maya turns, but he's got a bit of work to do to catch Argent, and the Australian record could fall. Wow, 14.1 for Argent. That is a new Australian record. He'll be very pleased with that performance. Just look at that power, the final blow, and a new Australian record.
Good to break an Australian record. Still wasn't the prettiest cut, but they don't pay for pretty cuts, so.
Well, with that cut, Argent clearly took the win in the standing block, and Cody Steers takes a gallant second place. Turning to the overall, and Maya is clearly still out in front with O'Toole, Gurr and Argent equal second, whilst Losa moves into third place. With the top five holding a tight race, is there room for another contender at the top?
Oh, I'm just out there to have a go with whatever comes my way. You put your hand to it and just give it a shot.
Still Timbersports, brought to you by the Amarok V6, the most powerful ute in its class. 11 Workwear, official clothing partner of the Still Timbersports Australian Series. And Still voted #1 for quality garden power tools. Better still. The best athletes have descended on Melbourne for the Still Timbersports Australian Championships. Currently, Braden Meyer is well in front, while the others jockey for second place as we head into the next event, the single buck. With its peg and raker system, the athlete pushes and pulls their single buck saw through a 46-centimetre pine log. Their wedger oils the saw and drives a wedge between the cookie and trunk to help avoid friction hang-ups. In Heat 1 of the single buck, we have Jamie Head, who sits 2 points behind his opposition in Lawrence O'Toole, who's had the upper hand in their contest so far today. Will the result be the same?
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
Good start by both Head and O'Toole. Long strokes by O'Toole, who's really making the most of his tall frame. Head more explosive, and they are neck and neck as they round the middle of the log. They're really pushing hard now and looking to finish quite strong. Wow, that is too close for me to decide. Let's have a look at the slow-mo, and O'Toole just pips Head by 8/100ths of a second. O'Toole 15.45 and Head 15.53. For Mitch Argent, this single buck heat will be the culmination of the effort he's put into this discipline lately.
Yeah, leading into the competition, I've been doing a fair bit extra to what I normally do. A lot of single end saw and sort of not much chopping, just sort of trying to bring me weaker ones up to be competitive, yeah.
Argent will be up against Tasmanian Matt Gurr, who should push Argent all the way.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
It's Argent on stand 1 and Gurr on stand 2. Great start by Gurr, who'll be looking to build on his current equal second position. Powerful strokes by Argent, who looks to have a slight lead working through the middle section as the wedge goes in. And Argent brings it home in 18.43. Gurr finishes off there at 21.86. Let's look at Argent's run. Good, clean strokes through the middle and no hang-ups.
Yeah, it was a good run for me. I'm not the strongest single-hander soy, so underhand's next. So I broke the Australian record yesterday, so it's one of my stronger disciplines. So hopefully get a few points in that.
Single buck's very physically demanding and all about technique. So you've got to have great technique and run the saw perfectly to be very competitive in the single buck. The saws we use are peg and rakers. The one I use is actually a 3-peg, which is produced by Tortoy Racing Saws in New Zealand, and I've had quite a bit of success with them over the years. Jason Wynyard, I think, is the best single buck saw in the world. Yeah, got a beautiful style and been very successful, and I think if you have a look back over his record, there wouldn't be too many single buck events in Timbersports that he hasn't won.
Wynyard, a slight advantage over Sterling Hart, 10.93. That's a new best time on the day.
Yeah, I've got the Australian record in about 14.7, but other than that, anywhere about 16, 17 is pretty good. That was pretty good wood the day that was set, so we haven't sort of got close to that again for a little while.
A Battle of the Titans in Heat 3 sees Brad DeLosa up against Braden Meyer in a discipline that is one of DeLosa's strongest.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
Good start by both Meyer and DeLosa. No hang-ups early, which is exactly what you want. DeLosa needing to put in a good effort here if he wants to claw back that lead from Meyer. Meyer looks to have a slight lead through the middle, but DeLosa is coming home strong. And DeLosa gets it in 15.21. Meyer in 16.50. Look at those long strokes that brought the win home for DeLosa.
The time's pretty good. 15:21 is just outside my personal best, so that's really good. And a couple of good sawyers to come, you know, so I'm just hoping that the time stands up. So it'd be nice to get a win out of one of these events.
For Cody Steers, a solid result here is paramount in a discipline he has spent much time on lately.
That's probably been my most improved event, single buck. Done a bit more training and I've got a new single buck saw, so hopefully that pays off. And yeah, that's probably one of my stronger events at the minute, yeah.
Steers will be up against a powerhouse in Glenn Gillum, who currently sits in last place overall for the day and is looking for that top result.
I've only just merged into Stills Timbersports in the last 12 months, and I'm just out there to have a go with whatever comes my way. You put your hand to it and just give it a shot.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
Gillum charges out of the start in the left-hand position from behind the block. Steers giving it his all with his new saw as the wedges go in. He is really going for it in this heat. That mullet is flapping everywhere. Gillum is nearing the end. How's his time? 15 seconds flat and the fastest time of the day. Cody Steers gets 15.97. That is just the dream run that Gillum was looking for in this back end of this competition.
Really happy with the way I singled there then. Yeah, well, I'm pretty chuffed. I had a couple of fluffy strokes through out of it. Yeah, 2 more things to go.
A clear winner in the single buck. Glenn Gillum tops the table with Brad DeLosa in close second. On the overall, Meyer still holds the lead, but DeLosa now moves within striking distance in second, with O'Toole in third and Gillum in hot pursuit. As the competition enters the back half with 2 events to go, can Meyer hold off on defending champion DeLosa and take home the title? The contenders are lining up to take home the Still Timbersports Australian Championship, with DeLosa starting his run for the title, but Meyer stands in the way. How will they go in the next discipline? The underhand chop. The underhand chop resembles the old school technique of cutting felled trees down to size. After removing approximately 50% of the front side, they pirouette to the back, devastating their block with power and precision, eventually driving the wood in two.
My favourite discipline is the underhand chop, obviously because I got the world record in that, and like last year I never got beaten in the underhand at all, so hopefully this year I can replicate that and go forward. So the underhand chop is a vertical log situated on the ground with a cradle. One end's fixed to the cradle and one end's loose, and pretty much get on top of the log and smash it off as quick as you can. Try and beat the 12.4 world record. So the axes that we use in the chopping, they're two Atari racing axes, so I can represent their axe and do pretty good with it. Well, the underhand's the first chop you learn in the chopping ring, so that's the one you start off with if you start wood chopping, and then you work your way up to the standing block and springboard. I'd like to say myself, but Lawrence O'Toole's the best ever in the underhand chop. Pretty much a picture of the best style you can have. But yeah, he's the man in the underhand chopping in the world, but the last couple of years I've been beating him, so it's been pretty good.
And there it is. Meyer claims the victory and the fastest time in the underhand today. In this heat, Braden Meyer will be looking to stamp his authority and consolidate on the lead that he's held all day with a strong result as he goes up against Queensland powerhouse Mitch Argent in the first heat of the underhand chop. Can Meyer extend his lead at the top?
Time is ready.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
And they get to the wood together. Meyer with a slight stick there, but he is into a super fast axe speed and he gains momentum looking for maximum points. Argent turns first. He's got the lead on Meyer at the halfway point. He'll need to put in some big swings to catch Argent, who's gunning for a blistering time. But Meyer is on his last few and he's done in 17.80. Argent comes home there at 20.08. Our second heat features the battle for second place with Brad Losa up against Lawrence O'Toole, who's currently 3 points behind in third.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
Simultaneously, they get to the wood. Long strokes from Lawrence O'Toole getting to the block as Brad Losa hits with power and precision. They both turn at the same time in this super close heat. They're working through the backside of the block. Who's it going to be? Losa? O'Toole? Who's going to get through? Jeez, they both finished together. Who's got the advantage in the underhand chop? Losa just wins in 18.51, O'Toole 18.63. Losa gets the points he was after and continues his chase for the title.
Been a pretty long day, so only one more event to go, but that certainly helped me cause. I think me and Lawrence were pretty even on points, so maybe I've got one on him there, but it's all going to come down to the hot sauce, so pretty much when you've got a group this tight that every event counts, and that's where we're at the minute.
Our third heat sees the two Tasmanians as Cody Steers takes on a friend and mentor Matt Gurr in a vital heat for championship points.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
It's Gurr getting to the wood first, but the power of Steers is not to be underestimated in this battle as his axe speed and power rival any of the top competitors. He slays the back and turns first. Steers with the lead so far. Gurr turns now, but he has a lot to do to catch Steers, who's looking to make a solid time in the underhand. And he is done in 19.27, which is probably not the fast time he was after. Gurr is finishing off and comes home in 26.15. Winning the single buck, Glenn Gillam has rocketed up to equal third place. But he's not taking it for granted as he knows how solid his competitors are.
Everyone out there is attribute is incredible. No matter who it is or what it is, if you make a mistake, you're only beating yourself. You're not beating anyone else. So the competition is first class, and take the hat off to all. It's a credit to be there where they are.
Gillam will be looking to make an impact further up the leaderboard in his heat as he comes up against Jamie Head for the second time today. Last time, Head got the better of him in the stock saw. Will the result be the same in the underhand?
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
And it's Head that gets to the wood first, but the power of Gillam is unprecedented. Just look at that power and strike rate. That axe is ripping through that block. Gillam is the first to turn and looks to have a solid lead as he slays the backside. Gillam is swinging like a man possessed. What time is he going to get? 17.20. That is a new Australian record. Head comes home not far behind in 18.84. Gillam knows that was the time he was looking for in this second to last event. And you can see that strike rate that Gillam had. That block stood no chance against that raw power, setting the Australian record time today. Glenn Gillam took the underhand record from Braden Meyer with a convincing win in the underhand chop. On the overall leaderboard, Meyer still retains the lead with Losa on his heels in second and Gillam moving up to third with one event to go, the hot saw. With one event to go, who will fail and who will triumph in the hot saw to win the Steel Timbersports Australian Championship? With 4 contenders vying for the Steel Timbersports Australian Championship crown, it all comes down to the hot saw, the final event of the day. Meyer has held the lead all day. Losa had a poor start, but has regained the points he needs. Gillam has been the surprise package, winning 2 events to be in the mix. And Lawrence O'Toole's consistency will need a solid hot saw run. It all comes down to the hot saw with 4 athletes vying for the championship title. 8 points will be allocated for a win in the hot saw, and it's still anyone's game. athletes must cut 3 complete cookies in just 15 centimetres of the 46 centimetre diameter block. Jump the gun, cut over the line, or incomplete cookie will result in a DQ and end any chances of being crowned the champion. Cody Steers has not had the day that he anticipated, but can reconcile his result with a solid run in the hot saw. In the first heat, Steers is up against Jamie Head, who will be needing maximum points to make the top 4 and a guaranteed selection in the Chopperoo's team.
60 seconds to warm up the saw.
This warm-up period is where the athletes want to make sure their saw is running, their safety checks are complete, and the monster saws are ready for action. Let's get into the first heat.
Hands on the wood. Get set.
Wow, holy hot saw, that was fast. Steers takes the win in 6.84, head home in 7.65. 2 clean cuts to get the hot saw heats going. A good cut and fast transition gives Steers the win and the time to beat. In the second heat, Matt Gurr will be up against Mitch Argent. Both athletes will be looking to best Steers' time of 7.65.
60 seconds to warm up the saw.
Despite a few highlights, Matt Gurr and Mitch Argent need to cut well and resurrect what has otherwise been a disappointing end to their day. Let's see how they go.
Hands on the wood. Get set.
No, Argent has a mishap with the starter. This is going to cost him. Gurr has a clean run of 7.76 seconds. Avoids the disqualification there and he gets home in 22.75. With a time to beat of 6.84 seconds, Lawrence O'Toole knows this is make or break for his campaign.
I'm looking forward to hot sawing because that's probably the most fun. So got to be careful not to get too carried away. And last round I was trying to go out and break records and DQ'd, so I just got to stay pretty tight and follow the game plan.
O'Toole will have his chance at the title against fellow Victorian Glenn Gillum, who currently holds 3rd place overall today.
60 seconds to warm up the saw.
Both O'Toole and Gillum will be looking for a clean cut and points on the board, as a disqualification can be costly in their aim to make the top 4 and be a member of the Australian Chopperoo's team.
Hands on the wood. Get set.
Wow, super fast by O'Toole, taking the top spot with 6.65 seconds. Gillum is taking it easy, making sure he cuts 3 clean cookies and does not go over the line, otherwise it'll be a disqualification with no points. A lightning fast time by O'Toole stamps his mark on the hot saw and puts him in contention for the title. After leading the competition all day, the title is Braden Myers to lose.
Pretty important to me. You get classed as the #1 man in Australia. All the focus is on you going into Europe, and I've had that feeling again, and I want it back.
Meyer will be up against rival Brad DeLosa, who is looking to take the title from him.
60 seconds to warm up the saw.
If Meyer is disqualified or gets less than 3 points, he's going to lose the title to O'Toole. But if Brad DeLosa wins the hot saw, then Meyer will need a 4th or better to win the title. it all comes down to this. The final heat of the day to decide the still Timbersports Australian champion.
Hands on the wood. Get set.
Has a ripper of a hot saw with 6.38 seconds, and Maya's hot saw hiccup can have devastating repercussions for his title run. Clean run with 3 good cookies, but will that be enough? You could never have guessed that was going to happen, but then again, anything is possible in the hot saw. Brad Losa was on point with his hot saw. 3 clean cookies and the fastest time of the day.
Yeah, it was a pretty good run. You know, I'm very happy to get the fastest time. A lot of pressure to do everything right and consistent. And yeah, I'm not sure what's happening at the minute. I'll just go back and get my head around it all and yeah, see where we finish up.
Brad Losa finishes the hot saw in first place and pips Lawrence O'Toole for second. Unfortunately for Maya, his mishap placed him in 7th for the hot saw. That means Brad Losa wins the Still Timbersports Australian Championship 2 years in a row and will represent Australia at the Individual World Championships in Norway. Braden Meyer comes in second, O'Toole third, and Gillum fourth, providing an automatic selection into the Chopperoos team at the World Championships. Losa turns first, looking to make a big statement here at the standing block.
Yeah, I really didn't see it coming, you know. I just, after the first couple of events, I was really down and I just had to keep, you know, just lift myself and build. And I, you know, I was really happy with how I chopped today.
Who's got the advantage in the underhand chop? Losa just wins in 18.53. Brad Losa has a ripper of a hot saw with 6.38 seconds.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, I'm, you know, pretty emotional really that everything's come together like it has. Yeah, it's really amazing.
Losa, O'Toole, Meyer, Gillum and Argent are the Australian Chopperoos. They'll be aiming for their 4th consecutive Team World Championship title.
Final drive here, unbelievable.
Well, Brad Losa will take on the best individuals in the world for the Individual World Championship.
Brad Losa, so strong.
So, join us next time for some more Still Timbersports action.
Oh my goodness, what a time by Australia. Best time of the day.